The FNCS Global Championships lower bracket just wrapped up, and here's everything you need to know about who qualified to finals, who missed out, and where everyone is dropping for finals. And in this video, I'm also going to go over all of what I just mentioned, as well as talk about some predictions for finals tomorrow. So let's get right into the video. Starting off with a lower bracket recap, in first place, we have Badil and Mr. Savage. They absolutely popped off today while also getting some help from some zones, and also capped off this first place with a win with 80 limbs in the very last game. Mr. Savage and Badil look primed for finals, and hopefully they can bring this momentum into tomorrow and have a really good performance. Next in second place was Aders and Kanata. Aders and Kanata uncon in the lower bracket instead of being contested by Thomas HD and Malabuka in the upper bracket. And in the lower bracket, they took advantage of being uncontested and popped off and got second place. This is the Aders and Kanata that we are used to seeing, popping off, playing really consistent, and making endgame every single game. I'm expecting a much better performance out of them, fighting Thomas HD and Malabuka off spawn in finals. But we're just gonna have to wait and see how that turns out tomorrow. Next in third place was Chubbs and Brycex, another NA team in the top three once again, just like the upper bracket. And Chubbs and Brycex were actually going insane today. Chubbs and Brycex were in first for the entire tournament and probably would have finished in first if they didn't kind of start giving up and trolling towards the end. In the fourth game, they just went on the island and ended up dying when they could have just played endgame. In an easy game where they actually pulled zone, so they probably could have done even better and won the lower bracket. Moving on to fourth place, we have another NA team, Rapid and Batman Booga. A team that just couldn't get it done in the upper bracket, gets it done in the lower bracket. So hopefully they can take this and have a really good performance in the finals. Next in fifth place was Kwani and TK, another NA team. Four of the 5 teams in the top 5 were NA. Kwani and TK looked really good today. They are going to be caught in the finals, but hopefully they can use this good performance to help set them up with a good finals performance as well, off spawn and in in-games. Next in 6th place, we have Nutty and Gabzera, a Brazil team in 6th place, popping off with a new drop spot. Instead of contesting Sanguine like they did in the upper bracket, they went to Breakwater and played really consistent, and are actually going to be landing there uncontested in finals. So hopefully they can have a same performance and place really well in the finals. Moving on to 7th place, we have the EU team Stino and Lishi. One of the rare times you'll ever see a duo on EU have a controller player in it, but this duo is actually really good and we're landing a different spot that they've been landing all season long. But they're going to be returning back to their spot that they normally go in finals. So I'm expecting a really good performance out of this duo, as they're actually very good to me. Next in 8th place, we have another EU team, Pixie and Cheatin. This duo is actually the duo filling in for Nefrizzi and Howley, and they made the most of it by qualifying to the finals. So hopefully they can get a good placement for Nefrizzi and Howley and pop off in the finals. Moving on to 9th place, we have Peterbot and Bila. They started off really rough, but got it going in the end and ended up qualing, and I'm expecting this duo to have a pretty solid placement in finals. It did take Peterbot and Bila a while to get going, but the last half of the tourney, they actually popped off and looked a lot like the Peterbot and Bila we're used to seeing. And rounding out the top 10, we have another NA team, Crisp and Noxy. This duo was kind of a surprise today. In the last game, Noxy clutched a 3rd place from 3rd zone and ended up helping them qual with that performance. This is a duo of 2 very underrated NA players, and I'd love to see them pop off in the finals. Rounding out the rest of the teams that qualified, we have Keto and PHN in 11th, Vico and Pink in 12th, Hen and Vask in 13th, Moneymaker and Fanayan in 14th, Podesai and Snazy in 15th, Rouse and Clown in 16th, Cooper and Mero in 17th, Source and Yumi in 18th, Rezon and Janice in 19th, Carmi and Vanyak in 20th, Dukes and Edgy in 21st, MK Papa and Shalom in 22nd, Clement and Kaizen in 23rd, Sinted and Polarized in 24th, and Stain and Datus in 25th. I want to backtrack a little bit to Dukes and Edgy. Dukes had an absolutely insane 1v2 on Sinted and Polarized to win game number 3 that helped boost them to qualify to finals. Take a look at this absolutely insane 1v2.
Tough time so far in these first couple of games. And for game number 3, this could definitely be their moment. Polarized and Los, though, they're not looking to let it go anytime soon. Up the center and immediately taken back down. Edgy stood no hope here. Now it's Duke left in a solo clutch situation. 2 of NA's finest directly above him.
What?
Massive shot though onto second. Duke with the back-to-back, and it's a victory royale out of nowhere.
Now I want to talk about some teams that sadly did not qualify. The 2 biggest teams that did not qualify were Epic Whale and Clicks and King and Phaser. 2 really big teams that had some pretty high expectations going into this weekend. Epic Whale and Clicks to me just look like the same old Epic Whale and Clicks we've been watching since last season's FNCS. They just really don't look like a complete team at all. They never have mats, they never have surge, they just don't look that good at all. People were starting to get their hopes up after a string of really good cash cup placements, but that's just nothing compared to what we were going to see this weekend. But sadly, they just didn't make it, didn't get enough. They were 1 kill away from making finals, but it should really not be that close at all if you're a team of this caliber and a team with this much experience and really good career history. And on the other hand, King and Phaser just looked absolutely nothing like they've been looking all year in Brazil. I was expecting them to be a sneaky win going into this tournament, but they just never got going at all. I don't even remember one time they looked good in a single game. Sadly, a bad performance out of them in this tournament, and I hope to really see them pop off in the next tournament they play. Overall, heading into the finals, we are going to have 23 EU teams, 18 NA teams, 4 Asia teams, 3 Brazil teams, 1 OCE team, and 1 Middle East team in the finals, representing all their regions. Pretty much what you would expect, mostly EU and NA, and also EU and NA won all 10 games, 5 apiece this weekend so far. So in the finals, it will be interesting to see if another region will finally win, or if it's just going to keep being EU and NA domination. Also, the finals will consist of 90 keyboard players and just 10 controller players. 10 controller players is still kind of surprising to me. A lot of them are from EU and NA, of course, the bigger regions. And we actually have a double controller duo in the finals. Sherry and Rue from Middle East are a double controller team. Hopefully they pop off for the controller gang. I'd love to see it happen. Moving on now, let's take a look at the map that we're going to have for finals. A lot of these contests we've already seen this weekend, but we also have some new ones. We've got the big contest. We got Kanata Agers, Thomas HD Malabuka once again. I'm expecting this to be very, very close. Again, it was 3-2 in the upper bracket for Thomas HD, and I'm actually expecting them to just tie this time 3-3, or maybe even Kanata Agers 4-2, because Kanata and Agers, I think, were outdropping Thomas HD and Malabuka. They were kind of just throwing the gunfights. Then we've got the triple contested dog split, Janice Rezon versus Baka Pars versus Misha Tini. I'm expecting Tini to actually leave and do what he's been doing in Grands of last season, and to help make him qual. He's just going to land, camp loot routes, and try to play that ratty strat that they've made up. And it's actually a strategy that works well for them, so I'm really expecting them to do it. I do have Booga and Threats and Peterbot and Byla marked as contested, but don't be surprised if they don't fight at all. I'm expecting them to split it. Remember back in the Cash Cup a couple weeks ago, they actually were contesting in this one as well, right before they left for Copenhagen, and Peterbot and Byla let Booga and Threats get the vault all 6 games. I'm expecting something really similar to that to happen as well tomorrow. We're also getting the Acorn Cold versus Vico Pink off spawn again. Now this one, I don't know if they're going to fight more or less. Hopefully they don't fight that much, because Acorn and Cold are going to pop off if they don't, and it will also give Acorn and Cold their best chance of winning finals if they don't fight. So I'm kind of hoping they don't fight, but if they do, good luck to both of them. We've got some other off spawns here. Let me know down in the comments what you think's going to happen in all these off spawns. Who you think's going to fight, which teams you expect to be dominating each off spawn fight. Now I want to give you guys a quick little top 10 prediction of the teams I think are going to do well. And I don't really know for sure what's going to happen. We don't really know how these off spawn fights are going to work, or who's going to be surprise con, or what's really going to play out with zones. It is a one-day tourney, so it's kind of hard to tell what's going to really happen. And I think Cammy and Seti are going to come out on top here. Yes, I do have them contested on my map, but that could change, and in the upper bracket, they actually beat this team 4-1 anyways. So Cammy and Seti, I'm expecting to win. Then in second place, I have Rise and Iamzo, the most consistent NA team that is Uncon, and one of the best teams in the world that's Uncon as well. Rise and Iamzo mid-map, I'm expecting them to have a big tournament and really pop off for NA. In third, I have Queasy and Vino. Now, you're probably wondering why I don't have them winning, since they are probably the heavy favorites to a lot of people, them or Cammy. But I think Queasy and Vino are just going to keep doing what they did in the upper bracket and in most tournaments they play. They might get hyped a couple games and win the tournament by 100 points, or they're going to do what they did in the upper bracket, maybe get a win, but in most games they're going to get hyped, lose all their mats, and then get chopped down and they get like 8th to 10th-ish. So I don't really think they're going to be playing the most winnable strategy personally. Next in fourth, I have Acorn and Cold. If we get anything like the upper bracket performance they had, Acorn and Cold are most likely going to win, but I'm going to take the safe route here and just put them at 4th place, just in case they die a couple times to Vico or some other team. In the upper bracket, they had a pretty flawless tournament, so I'm kind of expecting it to not happen again. Next in 5th, I have Re and Ritual. Now, this is a pretty high ranking for them, even for me. They showed that they can still frag out even on LAN, and I'm expecting them to frag out once again in the finals. Next in 6th, I have Tayson and Murstache. I would have them higher. I wasn't really that moved by their performance in the upper bracket. I'm just expecting another pretty good performance out of them. Nothing too great or nothing too special. This duo actually kind of disappointed me in the upper bracket. They didn't play very well at all, but that can also come as a good sign. They got all their bad games out of the way. Maybe they have an absolutely insane tournament and maybe win it all. Next in 8th place, I have Flixie and Grippy. Right side Mega City Uncon. They played really well in the upper bracket, and I'm expecting this duo, who's always consistent, to play really well in finals as well. Then in 9th place, I have Brycex and Chubbs. Played insanely well in the lower bracket and have also been playing insanely consistent on NA all season. I'm expecting them to play really well. I think they could do much better than what I have them picked, maybe even top 5, but I'm going to take the safe route and just put them in 9th. And then rounding out my top 10, I have Zagu and Peppo-Clip. Uncon Mythic POI, I'm really expecting this team to be the best placing Asia team and really go all out for the smaller regions. Zagu and Peppo-Clip, I have a lot of faith in, and I don't think they played that great in the upper bracket, but they were also contested and are now uncontested. So I'm expecting an absolutely insane tournament out of them. I want you guys to comment down your predictions. Maybe give me your top 5 predictions down below on what you think is going to happen tomorrow. And as always, guys, if you want to see this drop map, make sure to join my Discord. I'm going to have the drop map updating in there if anything changes. And also make sure to like this video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe if you are new as well. This weekend has been insane, and I can't wait for finals tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.